Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Nick Zulovich, editor of Subprime Auto Finance News with the Cherokee Media Group. In today's webinar, how residual-based financing can benefit your dealership, we're going to learn more about CarMark Auto Finance with Richard Epley, who's the CEO of Auto Financial Group. But before we get started, I want to go over a few housekeeping items for today's session. Please make sure you've dialed in using the phone number provided in your communication email, or you're able to listen to us via your PC speakers. We are recording today's webinar, and we'll make that recording and Richard's presentation available to you in the coming days. So watch for a message in your inbox containing links to all those materials. You'll be in listen-only mode for today's webinar, but we'll reserve some time after Richard's presentation for a question and answer session. You can submit your questions at any time through the questions box on the GoToWebinar control panel. And if for some reason we aren't able to get to your question today, don't worry, because we'll forward it on to Richard and the team at Auto Financial Group so they can respond back to you directly via email. Lastly, if you have any difficulty during the webinar, please click on the hand icon on the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll try to get to your issue as quickly as possible. So let's learn more about how residual-based financing can benefit your dealership to help you turn inventory faster and build that all-important showroom traffic. So I'd like to now introduce Richard Epley, the CEO of Auto Financial Group.
Great, Nick. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday afternoon. Today I'm going to talk about the CarMark Auto Finance program and how it can help solve the challenges of today's market. So today I'm going to talk about, first of all, market challenges, how the CarMark Auto Finance works, why consumers love it, how it can mean more money for your dealership. Proof is in the pudding. We've got some examples of some dealerships, not necessarily in this presentation, but afterwards be happy to talk about some of the successes we're seeing both on the franchise and the independent space. And then we're going to leave it up to some Q&A. So let's take a look at today's customers. How many of your customers say they don't want to put little money down? Do you see customers who have negative equity because they still have many payments left? Does this sound like some of your customers? What we're seeing is that most customers want to put very little money down. We're seeing a lot of customers are electing for longer-term loans. I'm seeing 72 months, 72 to 84-month contracts out there pretty often. We're even seeing 96-month contracts out there again. So there are a lot of customers out there with a lot of equity. And even though people are electing for longer-term loans, they're still wanting to get out of their cars, every 34 months or so. Okay, current industry challenges. Do your customers shop you on price? Do you have competitive dealerships advertising they have the lowest price? How many customers come in on the low price you've advertised but they're buying on payment? These are challenges we face. It is a buyer's market. Dealerships are fighting the battle for their customer every day. So really what we're seeing, the number challenge for dealerships out there in the market today is differentiation. And we believe that an innovative program like the CarMark Auto Finance program can separate you from your competitors out in the marketplace. So enter the CarMark Auto Finance program. Stop fighting the rate war. Instead, have a compelling offer that cuts to the marketing clutter. The CarMark Auto Finance program is going to lower your payment. Typically, you're going to be able to drive a car with a payment that's 40% less than a comparable retail loan on the same term. It is not a lease. You own it. So the vehicle is actually titled in your name. Unlike many of the lease products out there, there's no security deposit required. It is available on current year vehicles, future year vehicles, and up to 5 years pre-owned. Moving on, this is what you're looking at here is a tool that we use in training people on our CarMark Auto Finance program. This is a tool that both our dealerships and lenders use when describing our program. It is fast, visual, and easy to understand. With this aid, the first thing we ask really are two questions. How many miles do you drive per year? The CarMark Auto Finance program has terms of 12, 15, and 18,000 miles per year. Second question we ask is, how often would you like to trade? Most people say 3 or 4 years. So with this tool, we explain, do not commit to pay for the whole car when you can just pay for the part of the car that you use. The next slide is going to dive into the numbers a little bit. What you're looking at here is a 2012 vehicle with a loan amount of $30,000 for 36 months. That middle column is just a conventional retail loan, and the column on the right is obviously the CarMark Auto Finance Group loan. Most of our lenders will take their retail rate. They'll add 100 basis points to offset our enrollment fee. That's why you're seeing that 3.75% rate under CarMark Auto Finance. You'll see the 100% markup. I'm sorry, 1% markup. But ultimately, the consumer pays that additional fee, so the lender doesn't pay it. And comparing the monthly payments here, you can see obviously that's a $404 savings. So it's very compelling, and is an avenue for the dealer to shorten the life of the loan, so they can drive those customers back to their store and sell them a new car more frequently. So what options do the customers have at the end of the loan term? The consumer can trade in the vehicle at any time. They can keep their vehicle for the predetermined guaranteed future value. And by keeping it, they can either pay off the balance or they can refinance it. Their last option is they can turn in and walk away. So we've got really 3 different options here, or you're seeing kind of 3 different illustrations here on the right. So the guaranteed future value is $16,500. Obviously, if the car's worth $17,500 at the end of the term, the consumer's better off trading it or keeping it. If it's equal to the guaranteed future value, they're probably once again should trade or keep it. If they're underwater, the consumer cannot lose. They can only win. So if it's worth $14,500, they can simply turn the car to us and walk away from it. So what determines a vehicle's depreciation? So if you've got 2 identical vehicles, same model, same year, both in same condition, one's got 30,000, the other has 60,000 miles, which one's worth more? Obviously the one that's got the lower miles. So the age of the vehicle, the miles on the vehicle, and the condition of the vehicles are all controllable by the consumer. But what the consumer cannot control is market risk. And that's where the CarMark Auto Finance program comes into play. It does protect the consumer from market risk. So let's talk about market risk. What are some examples of market risk? Gas prices go up. We saw this back when there was $4 gas. New models come out with new highly desirable equipment, which happens all the time. Some of the older models become less desirable. Bad press, we saw this with the sudden acceleration issues on Toyota vehicles a few years back. Rebates are things that are always changing and always affecting the value of cars. So the CarMark Auto Finance Group eliminates this market risk to the consumer by giving them simply the walkaway option at the end of the term. So how is the CarMark Auto Financial? How is the CarMark Auto Finance program better than a lease? The fact that the vehicle is titled in the consumer's name, they own it, so it's a lot more flexible. The terms available are 24 to 72 months. The over mileage penalty is only 10 cents compared to most lease programs that are 21 to 25 cents. No double taxation. That really depends on the state where the consumer lives. In Texas, for instance, if you were to lease a car in the state of Texas, the consumer pays all the sales tax up front. If they want to buy that lease out at the end, they pay sales tax again, effectively making double taxation. With CarMark Auto Finance, you've got no acquisition fees, no security deposits, and there's also no first or last payment required. The consumer can also use their standard liability insurance. They're not having to buy the higher coverages that you'd normally see in a lease. So how's the CarMark program better than a balloon? We don't see many conventional balloons anymore in the marketplace, but there have been some, and the main difference is that in a conventional balloon, using that same 36-month example, at that 36-month mark where the loan matured, the consumer would have to pay off that balance or refinance it. They wouldn't have simply would not have that walkaway option like they have under the CarMark program. So the CarMark program really provides the best of both worlds. You really have the best of a lease, but you have the true ownership and some of the benefits of ownership. So why consumers love CarMark Auto Finance? Lower monthly payments. It's a way to upgrade to a better vehicle. Some people look at it as, rather than not being able to get into, a beginner sedan level vehicle, some can afford to buy a little more vehicle under this program. Minimal cash investment. No money down, or no down payment required. Excuse me. Great mileage options, 12, 15, and 8,000 miles per year. And with the 10-cent per mile penalty, that's still very reasonable. I still see a lot of consumers that are, might drive 20 or 21,000 miles a year that still elect our program just because the over mileage penalty is so low. There are shorter and flexible loan terms, so especially from a dealer perspective, it's a way to really shorten the trade cycle. And consumers like that as well. They like to be able to get in a vehicle for 3 or 4 years and be able to turn it in and get something new. So let's talk about why it makes sense, and let's get in a little bit of the numbers here. Here's just an example. I've got a 2012 Honda Accord sedan 4-door SE. The top column is just a retail loan. The bottom column is the CarMark Auto Finance example. Using a 4% rate on the retail loan and a 5% rate on the CarMark Auto Finance loan. And I think the numbers that are going to jump out at you is the 36-month payment on the CarMark Auto Finance is $332 a month, and you can't get that low of a payment even if you stretch out the loan to 72 months on a retail side. So for here, the dealer can ultimately sell 2 vehicles in the same amount of time as they could sell one, utilizing the CarMark Auto Finance program. So let's talk about how it can mean more money for your dealership. It'll allow the dealership to make more gross because there's not so much of you're really selling payment more so than the price of the car. This gives you an avenue to move away from just comparing price, and which we know it's very competitive out there today. It's a way to drive showroom traffic. Whether you use the CarMark Auto Finance Group program to sell every car, it's still going to provide you a tool that you can advertise, so you can drive some additional showroom traffic. And it can enable you to have a competitive edge and competitive advantage over any of your customers down the street. And ultimately, it's going to allow you to sell more cars. And probably the best thing about it, doesn't cost you anything. There's no cost to the program. Simply all you would have to do is find some of our participating lenders wherever you're located. If you are a lender that's participating in this webinar, we'd like to visit with you about how you'd be able to get on our program utilizing the CarMark Auto Finance program if you are a lender. So that's pretty much the the presentation for today. With that being said, I'm going to open it up to some Q&A, and I think Nick will be reading some questions you guys have submitted, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Great job with the presentation, Richard. And as he mentioned, please use the questions box on the GoToWebinar control panel to submit any questions you might have for Richard about the CarMark Auto Finance program. Richard, throughout the presentation, you discussed how much this is a differentiator, and with the fact that new car leasing is at a level that is almost unprecedented. Just to reiterate, how can a salesperson, an F&I manager, someone on the showroom floor, how can they make the differentiation again to show how much more benefits the consumer can get with this program as opposed to perhaps a conventional new car lease or those 72, 84-month contracts you referenced at the top of the presentation?
Yeah, so one of the things we do, Nick, once we have a dealership that gets on the program, we do have a software component that we give the dealership, and we give our lenders as well. And basically, it will allow the dealership to put in a VIN number. They can also manually go through and build a car, and our software will show those comparisons, so they can look at how the CarMark Auto Finance payments will compare to retail loans. We also, Nick, about 12 months ago, rolled out a new technology that we call our dealer inventory download. We actually can take an inventory feed from the dealership, and we download their inventory into our technology, and we basically show the dealership the cars out of their own inventory that work the best with the CarMark program. So we think those are some real compelling tools. We're doing a lot of the homework behind the scenes to help identify the best opportunity vehicles.
Excellent, excellent. Richard Epley is the CEO of Auto Financial Group, discussing CarMark Auto Finance and the benefits that it can bring to your dealership. Quick follow-up question from one of the dealers who's joined us on the line today. Richard, again, who holds the title of the vehicle when they leverage the CarMark Auto Finance program?
The consumer's in title of the retail installment contract. So depending on the state, but it's if the lien holder will hold the title, or if it's a title holding state, the consumer would, just depending on the state. But it is not a lease contract. It is a true retail installment contract. There's a 2-page document that is printed out of our system that just attaches to a retail installment contract that basically gives lays out the terms of how the consumer can simply turn in the car to us rather than making that final balloon payment.
Excellent, excellent. And if when the customer does come to the end of the contract and he or she decides to walk away, does the dealer have the option to purchase the vehicle? Is it at fair market value? Again, how does that part of the process work?
Yeah, so the consumer being on the title being on the title, the consumer has all the options, so they can always trade in the car at any time. So the dealer can always reach out to their customer and see if they want to come back in the store, in the store and try to recapture them to come in and trade the vehicle and sell them a new vehicle. If they're going through the normal channels, if they're 12 months prior to the maturity date of the loan, our company sends out a notification to the consumer basically saying that your vehicle is maturing in the next 12 months. Here's what your options are. You have the option of keeping it, trading it, refinancing it, or you can turn it into us. At that point, if the consumer tells us that they want to turn the car into us, we schedule a preterm inspection that takes place, either at the consumer's home, place of business, or we can coordinate that with the originating dealer as well. So we will work with the dealerships on our program, the ones that are using it. A lot of them want to participate in that end-of-term process, and that's okay with us as well. There's a separate agreement that we would enter into with the dealership where they can be a point where the inspection can take place. They can also be a disposition point if they choose to do that as well.
And then continuing on with that process, perhaps this question's coming from a finance company representative. If neither the consumer nor the dealer opts to keep the vehicle, what's the remarketing process like if the vehicle ends up going that far through the process?
So great question. We pick up the car once again from the consumer's home or place of business, or at the originating dealer if we have a separate agreement with the dealer, and then we move the vehicle to one of our remarketing centers, which typically is a physical auction. Then we remarket the car ourselves. We've got a team of people that do nothing but remarket all of our inventory, and then we simply send the payoff check to the lender for that residual value amount or that guaranteed future value amount.
Very good, very good. And if have questions for Richard Epley about the CarMark Auto Finance program, please use the questions box on the GoToWebinar control panel. And another question, Richard, that's come in is where all is the CarMark program available? Is it sanctioned in all 50 states? How many finance companies are in the pipeline? How much market penetration is out there?
Yeah, so we've got we have roughly about 100 active lenders on our program, on our platform. I would say we've got several thousand dealerships that are participating. We have certain areas where we've got more lender coverage than others. So really, I would anybody that's interested in participating in this, I would recommend that reach out to us and let us try to put them in touch with one of our lenders to see if we've got coverage for them. If not, then we would work with the dealer to identify maybe some lenders that would be interested in the program, so they can have access to it. But the other thing I didn't answer is we are transacting business in about 40 states currently.
Great, great. And again, Richard, they're showing on the screen there is a demo that's online that dealers can leverage to get more information. What would they find if they go to that website and plug in some vehicles?
It's going to show them payments, so it's going to really just give them more calculator to let them compare payments as see what they might look like as compared to just doing retail loans.
Okay, great, great. And you mentioned also during your presentation about again the differentiator to make your dealership stand out. Certainly from a regulatory side, the FTC in particular is taking a greater interest in dealer advertising. Again, how can the CarMark brand be a helpful way to have that advertising differentiator that'll keep the regulators happy?
Well, I mean, I think it's really a sign and drive program. There's what you find in a lot of these, with a lot of these submitted lease advertisements or advertisements that are out there, is that they can be misleading. Where there's a big down payment required that's in the fine print that the consumer might never see, and then they show up at the dealership and think they qualify for a $299 payment, and all of a sudden they didn't realize they had to bring $5,000 to the table. Our program is all sign and drive. There's no down payment required, so it's an easy tool for a dealership to get in, find out what the payments are, and they can simply just advertise the payments and disclose what rate they're using, obviously. But typically in our transactions, there's no upfront money or security deposits required.
Great. Well, that's good information to know. And again, the differentiator to against the competition. More questions have come in, and certainly want to welcome yours as well. Please use the questions box on the GoToWebinar control panel. And another question has come in, I guess, curious about some of the backstory between the relationship between our organizations here. Richard, just I guess if you could, maybe a little color on the relationship between CarMark Auto Finance and Auto Financial Group. Just what, if you would, share a little bit about how we got together and have the program that we have now.
Yeah, so we I got together with Bill Zadites and Ron Smith many years ago, and you guys have had the CarMark the CarMark CPO program, and so they really thought it was a good fit. Our program was a good fit for what CarMark was doing on the CPO side. So that was really how the initial conversations went. So we jointly came up with the CarMark Auto Finance program, and it's really really white labeled our standard balloon program as the CarMark Auto Finance program. We've been doing webinars like this, and we've been participating at Used Car Week the last several years, and trying to get the word out to as many dealers and lenders as possible. As we think it's a program that that really meets the market challenges that are prevalent out there today. We see all these longer loan terms, which are really scaring a lot of people, both from a all the way from a consumer to a lender to a dealership. We think that being able to shorten the trade cycle is something that is just a great tool that everybody's going to need.
He is Richard Epley. He's the CEO of Auto Financial Group, and his contact information is there on the screen, both a phone number and an email address where you can reach out to Richard and gain more information about CarMark Auto Finance, how to get things started at your store, to possibly find out if lenders and finance companies in your market are participating, and perhaps if not, a way to bridge the finance company to possibly join the network and be a part of it as well. Another clarification question has come in, Richard, is CarMark does not fund the vehicles. That's correct. It's done through a separate finance company that is part of the relationship as well. That's correct.
That's correct. That's correct. So we have participating lenders in our program, and what we would do if we had an interested dealer, we would put them in touch with the lender where we have coverage, and then they would need to enter into a dealer agreement with that participating lender, and then they would ultimately have access to the CarMark Auto Finance program.
Excellent. And just for background, what types of size dealerships have found success with the program? What types and sizes of finance companies have enjoyed successes? What are some general demographics of folks who've had some success?
Yeah, really all over the board. I would say that the majority of our volume that's been done historically has been on the franchise side, although we do have some independents that have had a lot of success with it as well. Generally from a lender standpoint, I've got $50 million institutions all the way up to $5 billion, so really kind of all over the map. It's really hard to say, and each one of our each one of our lenders is is a little different, on how they, they're going to have a criteria on which dealers they're willing to work with. So it's really hard, kind of a hard generic question to answer. I really would need to hear your story and see where we can't match you up with one of our participating lenders.
And if you want to get involved with CarMark Auto Finance, again, Richard's contact information is on the screen. You can reach out to him directly, as well as go to send an email to info@carmarkautofinance.com, and or go to the demo website at carmarkautofinance.com/demo and plug in some vehicles to see if the program would benefit you. Closing moments here with Richard Epley and in our webinar here, highlighting the benefits of CarMark Auto Finance. And I think, Richard, we've connected on some of these in the past, and this question has appeared one more time. Does CarMark Auto Finance work with dealerships in Canada?
Not at this time. Not at this time. It is something that has been, the inquiry has been out there and been duly noted, but as of right now, we're not in Canada.
Very good. Very good. Well, closing moments here with Richard Epley. Again, great presentation today. A lot of information that dealers can take back to their stores and consider with their management team. And again, watch your inbox for a message containing the recording of today's session, as well as the presentation that Richard shared today. Richard, just wanted to give a chance to maybe share a parting thought for those who are joining us, and any recent success anecdotes wanted to share with the group, or just general thoughts on how this program can help individuals throughout the rest of 2015.
Yeah, well, in summary, I just want to thank everybody for their time today. I hope everybody was able to learn something a little bit, a little takeaway from on the CarMark Auto Finance program. I think it's a great tool that can really help you move some cars in 2015. So far it's been an epic year for lease transactions, and our program has been, we've had our best first quarter ever, and we expect that to continue. So I would love to reach out to anybody that's interested and get you more information on how you can get set up. So I'll look forward to hearing from those interested, and that's all I have. Everybody have a great rest of the day and a great end of 2015.
And to echo Richard's point, this is Nick Zulovich from Cherokee Media Group. We thank you for joining us, and thank you for your interest in CarMark Auto Finance. Have a great day.